No, not back. Just all the way. And what is the... Oh, come on. What is the phrase that on the one that I like? When you get to the fence that says no fucking off past this point, dream the impossible dream, go beyond that point and continue fucking off into the sunset forever.
That's right. And then when the sun rises, continue following it because there's still plenty. Yeah.
Yes. Howdy, live stream.
Howdy.
It's been a rough day, y'all.
Yeah, me too.
A member of one of my favorite bands of all time in all the world has died.
Who's that?
And I'm not supposed to only be this old when somebody from Depeche Mode passes away. That's not how that works.
Ooh.
And
right.
So that was fun. And then, by the way, so that person also passed away, which was super great. And my day just kind of got crappy. So, yeah.
I haven't been looking at any news all day. And so I just did. And why didn't you tell me faster to not?
I didn't know I needed to. I thought the keyboard player in Depeche Mode died was bad enough.
Who was
no? Well, you didn't say which member.
That's the joke.
And so I went to check, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hey, little fluff
oddly
monster.
Not the lead singer, who tried really hard to be the first member of Depeche Mode to pass away.
Yeah, sometimes irony's a bitch.
For real. And then it was not the one who drank so enthusiastically during one of their tours that he had grand mal seizures in between concerts. Wasn't him either. So, yeah. It was the one that looked like an accountant standing on stage with two rock and roll people who went home and like started a restaurant in London.
But to be fair, working in the restaurant industry is really stressful.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. But yeah, just sort of not the news I thought I would be getting from Depeche Mode. So
yeah.
Very sad.
And then also the drummer from Yes. And also
what?
Ray Liotta from
Ray Liotta was the other
Ray Liotta
one,
passed away. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Ray Liotta passed away.
Today, yeah. 67 years old.
What the hell?
Yeah. Fletch was 60 years old. And yeah.
Drummer of Yes?
No, the drummer of Yes was 70, 72.
Forgot his name.
Alan White.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. And he lives in Seattle. So.
Well, did.
Just over there. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
just
sorry, too soon.
Too soon.
No.
All right. We could get started if you'd like.
Oh, good Lord, do we have to? Can we all just sit here and drink podcasting juice and nod?
We'll have fun.
Kelly, I still love your shirt every time you wear it.
And thank you, whoever it was at 12 South that said, we need a shirt that says this, because this is a shirt from 12 South.
Right.
So is it an inappropriate joke to say, oh no, my keyboard shortcut stopped working?
Ouch.
Not to me.
Okay. Oh no, Kelly, my keyboard shortcuts stopped working.
You know.
All right, guys and girls, are you ready?
No, but let's go.
Let's go ahead. It's 2:05. Welcome, and here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to episode 205 of In Touch with iOS, the show that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and related technologies. I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg, and Jeff Gambit is here. How are you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing all right, and I am so happy to be here with both of you. This is like a high point of the day for me.
No, thank you. I agree with that as well, especially the fact that Kelly Gamad is here as well. Hi, Kelly.
Thanks so much for having me back on the show, David. This is absolutely the bright spot in my day today, and it's not close.
Oh, I always look forward to when you guys are on, and we got plenty of news to talk about this week. A couple weeks away from WWDC, but there's other stuff to talk about. And I thought this week we'd also do some tips. We'll get into that in just a bit here, and let's just go ahead and dive right in here. I thought this was a good story to start off with. This was announced yesterday as we record this. Live action Speed Racer series is coming to Apple TV Plus. Apple has picked up a live action Speed Racer series for Apple TV Plus. Variety reported this. The series has reportedly been in the works for years now, and it will be executively produced by J.J. Abrams. Speed Racer, the Japanese automotive racing media franchise that was originated in 1966. It was I still got the song in my head. Go Speed Racer.
Go Speed Racer.
Go Speed Racer, go.
And his girlfriend Trixie. But
yes.
This is good stuff. I'm gonna kind of look forward to this. What do you think, Kelly?
Here's the thing. I would be excited about a Speed Racer TV show in, a modern, a story told with the tools available to somebody in 2022. The level of special effects, the level of production value, the level of avenues available in order to make something like this a reality. I am less excited that it is J.J. Abrams because he has given me retreads in two different universes that I dearly love, and I haven't really been excited about either one of those. So I would really like if Apple would take the opportunity to take something like this and give it to somebody who maybe could use the opportunity and do something really good with it, because seeing something there's like a whole podcast that I can give you about the other piece of this, but it's way more enjoyable to watch a story, to watch an entertainment unit told by somebody who lives and breathes the material and cares about the story and really, really loves it and crafts that into something that they put out into the world. That opportunity is something that somebody who is not, whose name I don't know, who made that thing that I meant to watch and never actually saw, but was super great that nobody has a bad word to say about it. That person is who I want to do something like Speed Racer. I don't need another retread of something I loved as a kid from J.J. Abrams.
Okay, well, I guess we'll see how it goes.
So, we'll see. Yeah.
What do you think, Jeff?
Well, first, cast John Goodman or GTFO. And for
correct.
I mean, is it possible that J.J. Abrams is a big Speed Racer fan and can do the show justice? I don't know.
I don't either.
But I'm with you, Kelly. What I want is the Dave Filoni of Speed Racer.
Yes, that's the person that. There it is. That's it. That's exactly what it is. Somebody who the fandom for them is much like myself in Star Wars. It's not so much a thing that you love as it is a lifestyle decision. That's the person I want in charge of Speed Racer.
Now, here's another thing. I've been busy. I am sorry. All I have read about the Speed Racer show since the news came out were headlines that there was going to be a live action Apple TV Plus thing. So what I don't know is if J.J. Abrams is directing and personally producing the show, or is this his production company?
Level of
and if
involvement.
it's his production company, then the people that may be in charge of Speed Racer that are not J.J. Abrams might give us a really great show.
Yeah. Involvement level would make a difference to me as well.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And he's a very, very busy person right now. He's working on properties for multiple companies right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we will see. If I do recall that they did attempt a movie of Speed Racer and it wasn't that great.
Yeah.
So let's see.
It was pretty though.
It was pretty
Well, and it had John Goodman.
It
Yeah.
did.
It did. So next story here, Apple sets a new deadline for in-app account deletion requirements. Apple last year announced a change in the App Store guidelines that would require all apps to support account creation to offer an in-app option for letting users delete their accounts. However, this requirement has been delayed twice. Now, the company set a deadline for developers to have this done accordingly. So starting on June 30th, 2022, all apps available in the App Store that somehow let users create a new account must also offer a way to let them delete the account if they want to. So they made some revisions here. I think this is something smart. That you got to be able to have the ability to get rid of accounts. What do you think of this, Jeff?
I'm going to slightly modify what you said. People
Okay,
who
please.
create accounts need an easy and obvious way to delete their accounts.
Yes.
And what I'm hoping is that when Apple finally does say really truly okay for reals, this is the final deadline, and they're not
No,
doing
really, we mean it.
yeah,
no
and they're not
takebacks.
doing a Barry thing where it's like, okay, stop killing people starting now. Then I'll be excited about this. So I will be happy that this is a thing when it is actually a thing. And since Apple has continued to delay it, I will not. I will not have any level of excitement about this feature yet.
What do you think, Kelly?
Same. I think it should be obvious. I think it should be. I think it should be clear, and it's a little disappointing that they keep delaying it because we never hear anything about like we can't do this because reasons, right? So it seems like something that's really good for users, maybe not so good for developers, but good for users. And I feel like there's some very interesting optics around this is a thing that would be good for the people who use our devices, and we just can't seem to get our poop in a group and get it out the door. And that's the part that is sort of frustrating to me about it. I hope it's good, and I hope that part of the requirements in this process are what happens to your data. If I delete my account, does it stick around for 30 days on your servers before it's purged? Like what's happening with it? The muscle memory of Security Friday is a hard one to shake. So there's still a whole lot. As soon as I saw more chatter about this sort of going around, all I could think of was all of the ways that it might end badly. And I hope that's not the case. So I hope, even though they're not saying so, I hope the reason that it's taking as long as it's taking is so that all of the finer points of this can get nailed down. So
yeah, I got to do it right.
Dave, was it you on Mac Voices Live that brought up the idea that the real reason Apple might be doing this has nothing to do with the technological issue, but it's about a specific developer that they don't want to have to kick off the App Store? And now that developer finally has their poop in a group. And so Apple can give an official date.
Don't think it was me, but I remember us talking about that. And
that's a very reasonable presumption, I would think. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens here. Next story here. Apple Music is now available on a built-in audio player that's based on Jeff's very, very favorite platform, Waze. Apple Music is the latest streaming service to partner with Waze. With that, users can seamlessly integrate both services so they can keep their eyes on the road while enjoying the ride. Here's how Waze describes the partnership. With a direct connection between the apps, you can now access Apple Music content directly from the Waze audio player. And of course, you can enjoy 90 million songs and the whole thing. And it is, and they go through the whole spiel how to set it up through your Waze. And go ahead, I'll set that stuff up. All right, Jeff, I'm letting you have your rants. Do you think this is worth? Is this even worth it?
Yes, it's absolutely worth it. And like I've said before, this is a valuable feature because now you'll be able to listen to more of the music you like while you're not getting where you need to go because Waze sends you to the wrong place.
In the middle of the ocean.
Middle of the ocean, takes you on a ridiculously long route that drops you back right where it started you before sending you on where you want to go. insists that you turn left into a mountain field instead of staying on roads. All those little things that make Waze such a great experience.
Absolutely. Kelly, do you use Waze?
I do not. But I also generally am not driving when there's a whole lot of traffic to worry about. So usually what I do is open maps, glance at it to make sure there's not an accident or something that's causing a dramatic increase in the amount of time I would normally go, and go, okay, what's fastest? Like they're all within 2 minutes of each other. It's fine. That's usually what I end up doing. So for me, it hasn't been that big a deal. But I hope that more of this sort of opening up and compatibility with other platforms continues, because it would be great. And it would be nice if that was more the standard and it was something more like table stakes than it was a new and novel thing. So I hope that mostly I just hope it continues.
I agree, because the Apple is obviously continue on with integrating their platforms. They're doing with Apple TV Plus and their Apple TV. Why not do it with others, with music as well? Because they recently did it with the PlayStation 5 too. So I mean, they're adding it to other platforms. So there are people who do like Waze out there. So we know they're listening, but I think this is at least a smart thing to do for those who do use the service. So
yeah, my little rant aside, it is a smart move on Apple's part. You want to have your services available in as many places as you can to make it easier for people to want to use them. So yeah, why not add Waze integration as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Next story here. Interestingly, only update that happened with any OS this week was at least that this story is the tvOS. It was 15.5.1 for Apple TV HD and the TV 4K. They released some minor update to tvOS, which of course was first launched in September 2021. Comes 10 days after 15.5 was released, and of course it can be downloaded over the air. I went up and already updated it. As always, they never really say much as far as what any updates happen in tvOS, but through support document, it looks like it's an issue with where music could stop playing after a short period of time. What do you think, Jeff?
Thank God this update finally happened. Okay, and I'm not being a smartass with this. Seriously. Okay, so this problem is also a HomePod problem. So HomePod software 15.5.1 came out also.
Yeah,
and it is a fracking annoying thing where you start playing music and after a couple songs or 10 minutes or whatever, it just stops.
Mine's been doing that.
Yeah, we'll do the software update. It'll fix it.
Ooh,
This is a long-standing problem, and it's so annoying.
And I should have put this article because we're going to talk a topic here in just a little bit about HomePod and updates and all that fun stuff here, just a minute here. So hold that thought. But yes, good that they did tvOS as well here. So
yeah, and so far, my HomePods are playing music much more reliably now. So I installed this update like immediately after finding out it was out on Wednesday morning.
I did too.
And have been using my HomePods a lot ever since. And I have not had my music just stop and decide it's not a thing anymore since this update's been installed.
Good. Well, we'll talk about that in just a moment here. This next article, used iPods are likely not worth keeping as collector's items despite uptick in value after discontinuation, data shows. After the last iPod Touch was officially discontinued earlier this month in May of 2022, the entire range of iPod models have seen a slight uptick in value, but devices in used condition continue to experience heavy depreciation. According to trading pricing from over 40 U.S. independent tech reseller companies that was gathered, looking like depreciations of iPods have been 89% on average through this announcement, and they've been depreciating even more from models in 2003 up to 71% down They're showing like 7th gen iPod touches have the best resale value. Surprise, because that's the latest model. But they say that the users are getting around $100 for the device, providing it's in good condition. Whereas slightly older ones could be anywhere upwards of $60. So there was a bit of a craze on eBay, that's for sure, with iPods. And we talked about this when this was announced. But that's why I have to enunciate iPod, because I will say iPad or something else that it's not. But Kelly, what do you think here? I mean, I kind of got, I don't know if you know this, but I got a little reminiscent of iPods. So and I knew I had one, so I pulled it out. I have the 1st gen iPod, and that's the 5 gig with the FireWire, and it still works. I can't believe it.
Yeah,
It still works.
I can't reach it, but my 5th gen iPod still works. I use it regularly. There are occasionally places, stretches of road on trips that we normally take where there's no reception of any sort, and so Apple Music's not going to cut it. And yeah, wow. I love that click wheel. I have a Nano over here. I have the little pack of gum thumb drive shuffle, which I always thought was really ingenious. I have a few of them, and I like them all. I was really sad it was gone, because it feels very much end of an era to me.
It does. That's why
that it's gone. But I do still use it regularly, and every once in a while I will get a wild hair and go look up what it would cost to swap out the spinning hard drive in it for something a little peppier, and look at it and look at it and look at it and put a bunch of stuff in the cart, and then I get distracted by something else and wander off. So it never happens. But so if you have a good line on how to do that, please contact In Touch with iOS, and David will make sure that I get the information to go upgrade mine, because I don't have any problem with continuing to use it. I really like it. And so I'm not surprised that as a collector's item, like, it's not going to be collectible now anyway. You're going to have to wait like 10 years or something for it to be a collectible, so yeah, that popcorn tub I got when I went and saw Rise of Skywalker 2 years ago, like, that's not collectible yet. So
it is, if like me, you filled it with iPods.
Well, not yet. It will be in a few years. Right?
There you go. There's the 4th gen, and then there's the last gen. So they're still these are both still working.
I have a box of iPods in the closet. I am not kidding. And this iPod Touch, this is the one that has the little disc thing on it.
The pop out for the
pop out
strap. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So this one is running iOS 9.3.4, whatever the last version of 9 was that it would run. Mm-hmm. And it's still sitting here. I haven't moved it to the box of formerly used iPods yet. But I guess it's time.
But it's possible that it's pining for the fjords. Is that what you're telling us?
It is.
Yeah. I had the 1st gen iPod Touch and sold it years ago, so that was a good one.
And and App Camp for Girls was powered by the iPod Touch. Like, if it weren't for the iPod Touch, there was nothing. It wouldn't. I don't think we could have done anything, basically. Mm-hmm. So huffing around 24 of those is a thing that I did regularly for a long time. So that's my own personal sentimentality has to do with that, being able, it was part of what powered that organization for the whole time it was an organization. So having it disappear was pretty sad to me. I get why, but I think there's a valid avenue for that. And especially because about a year ago, my stepdad was looking for an MP3 player, and in the process, we were looking at like all these different ones that take micro SD cards and all these things, and how, putting music on them was going to be a giant pain in the neck and all this kind of stuff. And I was trying to find him something that was going to be, he said he wanted to pay like maybe $50, maybe $100. So I was trying to find him something in that range that was, also from like a name of a company that I recognized and that kind of thing. And then after about 15 minutes of asking him questions and sending him links to different things, he finally went, "Doesn't Apple make one of these still?" And I said, "Yeah, but it's like $250." And he went, "But it's an Apple one." And I said, "Yeah, it runs the same thing. It runs just like your phone does." And he went, "Okay, can I just get one of those?" And I said, "Sure. Here you go."
And there you go.
You gave me a budget, so I didn't want to, go over that. And it would be very stereotypical of Kelly to go, "Well, have you considered the Apple solution to the problem you have?" And so I was gonna not go down that road. And he's super happy with it because he's an iPhone 11 and it's gigantic. And sometimes when he goes on a walk and doesn't need his phone with him, then he wants to still be able to listen to music and have it like on his arm, but not have it, pull him to the left the whole time he's trying to walk around the block. So I think there's definitely an option there. I wish they had kept one of the smaller options, even if you can't go full iPod touch, like, give us the Nano with the built-in clip and the baby screen and all that, something. It would be nice. So
yeah. I'm now looking at iPods on Craigslist, and because they're so bad at filtering out. Well, apparently there are lots of cars for sale that are iPods, but I can get an Apple Hi-Fi for
the Hi-Fi
$75.
What?
Yeah, there's someone
in Boulder.
Well, it's Wheat Ridge, but I mean, hey, that's not
Colorado.
bad. Yeah, and for $100, there's one in Centennial.
There you go.
So
the best hi-fi that Steve Jobs was going to get rid of his home theater.
Right.
BRB, I'm hitting Craigslist.
Have to check. All right. Next story here. Google Maps historic Street View imagery is now available on iOS. Google Maps Street View, which is 15 years old this week, as we record, is to celebrate. They're rolling out the ability to view historic imagery when using the service on iOS or Android. When in Street View mode, user can access the historic imagery by first tapping anywhere on the photo to see information about the location, and then selecting more dates to access its current location and historic imagery. This is kind of cool. I guess they're going to have information as far back as 2007. Hey, I think this might entice people to at least look at this. I don't know if they'll necessarily continue to use Google Maps, but yeah, Google Maps is okay too. What do you think, Jeff?
I think this will be useful for some people, where I think this would be really cool. And Google has the technology to do this, yeah. I believe.
Yep.
Real historic photos. I want to see what the street looked like in 1897.
Exactly. We've seen a lot of Facebook groups that do that, but
yeah, I mean, seeing it in what it looked like in 2010. Okay, well, maybe I need to see what store was there to win a bet. I don't know.
Wow, what used to be here? Like I've had that conversation myself. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I want to see like really historical data.
Yeah, I don't know. That might be tough. That would be a lot of work, I would think. Them getting that cataloged and put into Facebook. Who knows?
They have so many people. They have so much money. They have so many facilities around the world.
Hey,
they have the resources to make this happen.
Yeah, everything's out there.
Right. I mean, they already have the reverse image search thing.
Yeah.
Right.
So it
seems like they have all the right pieces. We just need to get them to assemble them in a particular order, and the bulk of the work would be done for them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So hop to it, Google.
Let's do it. This topic has been pretty hot over on social media this last day or so. The Wallet app now supports Apple account cards in iOS 15.5. Apple has appeared to have recently updated the Wallet app to allow users to add an Apple account card, which displays the Apple credit balance associated with an Apple ID. If you receive an App Store or an Apple Store gift card, for example, you can add, and it's added to your Apple account that was previously visible in the App Store and the Apple Store apps. As of today, the Apple account balance will now be added to a new card in the Wallet app. To add the card, you just open up the Wallet app under available cards, tap add Apple account, and as long as you have an Apple account balance, you'll be able to see the card. But there's a little bit of disclaimer. I know, Jeff, you've been having some discussions on social media today, the fact that those of us who have two Apple IDs, which going back many years, we were just talking about that pre-show. Now I have a .Mac account as well as you do, as well as I have a Gmail account that account associates, in my case, my purchase accounts. It won't work. You got a warning saying that it won't work. Tell people about that, Jeff.
This is so stupid and so frustrating. Apple has not been able to adequately manage accounts for Apple IDs ever.
Never.
And and I was thinking, I have like, I don't know, 3 or 4 different Apple gift cards in Wallet right now. Aggregating them into a single card sounds great. So I went to set it up, and because I have a .Mac account that I'm using for part of my stuff, and then a different account that I'm using for other stuff. So, it's like broken up. One is for purchases, one is for iCloud and iCloud services.
Right.
You can't use this. You have to have a single Apple ID. And Apple still, after all these years, apparently is incapable of finding a way to let us merge Apple IDs, which if they could, I would be more than happy to.
And it's not like, oh, they'll do it if you do a particular dance or chant something at midnight when the moon is full or it's not like there's some super secret way to do it. I know more than one person who has extensive contacts in all different facets of Apple, and not one person I know who would otherwise have the power to make something like this happen can make something like this happen. It simply doesn't exist. Now, why is a conversation for another day, but
I can tell you why.
Doesn't.
The reason why, and this comes directly from talking with people at Apple, is because when they started with Apple IDs, that would be back with iTools.
Yeah.
And then they introduced the .Mac Apple IDs. These systems are not compatible.
They're not, but yeah.
And they have no interest in finding a way to make them blend together.
Yeah.
So for everyone that's hoping Apple will get around to doing this,
never.
It's not going to happen.
It's never going to happen. And it's sad. It frustrates me to no end.
So I can't use the new Apple Card thing.
Nor can I. Very sad.
But so stupid.
Well, I look forward to mine then.
You're smart. And have
a long time ago, when they were like, "Yeah, if you do this, like it'll never work." I had very little to repurchase basically on the new account, and so I moved a long time ago, and just stuck with it from there. I don't use the. I quit using the sort of the original one, and so it's somewhere on a server collecting dust, digital dust, and that's been it.
I probably could do that, because probably a lot of the apps I bought over the years on that purchase account, a lot of them
I have
exist.
So much music, so many movies, TV shows.
Right. That's probably
and then of course at this point a gajillion apps.
Right.
Yeah.
By the time I had to create the second Apple ID and found out I couldn't merge the two, I already had invested enough that that I accepted that I had to live with multiple Apple IDs.
Yep. So, same here. Okay, and then last story, but I thought this would be a great way to congratulate our friend and frequent guest of the show, Andrew Orr. He now is writing for Apple Insider, and we want to congratulate him on his new gig this week. And I'm super excited. He let us know earlier this week on Mac Voices Live, but why not discuss his first article? I found his first article, so
awesome.
Let's talk about it.
Okay,
this is on Apple Insider and authored by Andrew Orr. It's iCloud Time Machine for Mac and new airport routers pop up of the rumor mill, but hurdles abound. A questionable rumor appearing on Thursday morning claiming that Apple is working on iCloud Time Machine and a new range of airport routers. Here is a reason why Apple may or may not be pursuing the idea. The rumor is explicit about how Apple is working on this iCloud-centric time machine for Macs and new airport hardware, but the leaker in question has a good track record for future iPhone cases. He's presented a few days ago before release, but less so when discussing hardware. So it has been 4 years since the airport was discontinued, and the product itself was originally released in 2013 in that vertical tower form, which I still have below my feet here. I still haven't decommissioned yet. But there was some FCC filings on May 23rd that had apparently revived some of the rumors. The filing appeared. Apple details a device by the name of A2657, and its purpose seems to be as a network adapter of some sort. This is interesting, and he goes through and talks about the pros and cons of iCloud Time Machine and all that fun stuff. Do you guys think it's going to happen? I know it's not. I mean, we use it with our iOS devices too because it's on a network. But do you think Apple's going to make a comeback with this, Jeff?
Nope.
I don't think so either. I don't think so either, really.
It's Apple had the chance to move forward with their Wi-Fi device offerings a few years ago, and they could have done ultimately what Amazon did and bought Eero.
Yeah,
and I thought that would have been a really cool purchase for Apple to make, but it didn't happen. And unless Apple can do something that brings a unique and useful feature functionality to this space, they're not going to do it. And this device, this rumor device, I don't see it as that game changer thing. What I think this could be is something that Apple uses internally for device testing, repairs. This is an internal Apple device, is my guess.
Like Daisy and whatever the other robot was that disassembles things that are super awesome that none of us are ever going to lay eyes on aside from that video.
That could be. I hadn't thought about it that way.
Yeah.
I was thinking more like you bring your Apple Gear into the Genius Bar, and this is something that's in the arsenal of troubleshooting tools and repair tools that they have.
Yeah. So most people won't ever actually get to see it or lay hands on it, which was basically where I was going with it.
Oh, okay. Yes. Then yes, totally what you said.
Yeah.
So you don't think they will, Kalika? Do you?
No, and most of the reason for that is because Apple has only, I would say, possibly in the last iPhone and iPad release, stopped offering an entry-level piece of hardware with an insulting amount of storage. Only just. And to this day, in the year of our Lord, 2022, when you buy an Apple device, you get 5 gigabytes of iCloud storage for your backup. For your 128 gigabyte device, you get 5. And no.
No, I just came up with an idea, but I'll hold it. Keep going.
Okay. So because Apple has never been generous with storage in the first place, I do not expect them to start now. That's basically where all of this comes from. They have a long and storied history of no, because it's been 5 since the devices were 16 gigabytes, which at that point, like, okay, like you're giving me maybe half of my phone. You know, if my phone's only 50% full, then I can at least back up and not have to worry about these crazy alerts that are telling me I'm out of space. And now that like you can get a 2 terabyte device, your iCloud account storage is 5 gigabytes. And I still like, no. And so I don't think they're going to be into it. I really wish Apple had continued in networking, because Lord knows we could use a good user experience when it comes to your home network. All they do is get bigger and more complex. Giving us a reasonable way to manage them would be good. I'm mad at every single router operating system for one reason or another. I have an alphabetized list. And again, that's a separate podcast. They all are infuriating in some very specific and fundamental way that makes it really anger inducing to try and manage your network. And I don't even mean like my network with all kinds of crazy devices and all of that. I mean like a person who has a handful of things, and all of those things need network connectivity, and it's never going to be an issue. For the most part, I have to log in once in a while and update a password, or make sure something's showing up on the network like it should. And even if that's all you want from your router, it's really hard to find something where that's a good experience. So Apple getting into that game would be amazing, but it is not this day.
I agree.
Now I want to hear Jeff's idea.
Yeah.
Okay. So the idea that made me go, oh, when it hit me was, what if this is something that that we will see out in the wild and not just behind the employees only door at Apple stores? What if this is part of Apple's strategy to have a stronger position in the business space with their growing MDM offerings? What if this is an appliance?
Yes.
Not on-prem backup. Well, maybe on-prem backup. But I'm thinking on-prem management of updates and installs. And
so halfway between what I'm saying and what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay. So still something I will get to play with over at the day job.
Yes.
All right. I like your idea.
That does sound like a possibility.
That would be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I mean, if you expand it out to just Apple device backup, like if it does go hand in hand with business essentials, then that would be a very easy thing to do, especially if if it's iCloud and you get this option to put it in the office, because we all know Apple's hot to get everybody back in the office. If you can, augment that backup solution with something that you've got in-house that you can manage, and I like that.
This could be something interesting.
Yeah. I don't want Apple to get into the NAS game, but I think there's a certain amount of appeal in the function, not the device itself necessarily, but the function that Airport Time Capsule served, in that this can be my router. I can plug it, I plug it into the cable modem and move on with my life. And it works. And then I tell my computer to back up to the router, and I'm done. And having it be that easy, when it was that easy and that was still current hardware that people could use and care about, would be amazing. And having that be an option available to folks who don't have a Jeff or a David or a Kelly to come help them set up a network solution so that all their stuff can all back up to the same place would be really appealing. So it would be nice if that were the case.
All right. Well, we will see. We'll definitely see. And good luck, Andrew. We're looking forward to many more great articles out on the Apple Insider. Let's go ahead and move on to topics this week. Beta 15.5, 15.6 is still out. Beta 1, nothing's changed since last week. So we got just a weekend. Can't imagine too much more is going to be in that. And there may be one more beta, and then probably will release it just before WWDC kicks off in a few weeks. So not much to say about that, but a lot to say about the HomePod. HomePod updates. There's always seems to be issues with the HomePod, and it never seems to work properly. And our experiences will definitely tell you this, because Apple did release HomePod software 15.5.1, which fixes to a bug that caused the music to stop playing, as we talked about earlier with tvOS. I had the experience, and so did Jeff, and I'll let Jeff fill in what his experience was. But the fact of the matter is, it showed 15.5 and 15.5.1, and I'm like, huh? I already updated it. So what did you experience, Jeff? And I did tweet out. I don't know if you saw that, Jeff. I did tweet out to Apple support, and they replied to me pretty quickly after I.
I didn't
said
see they
something.
had replied.
Yeah, they did reply. So
Cool.
So it is obviously I can't mention we're the only ones complaining. Let us know what your experience was, Jeff.
So my experience was when 15.5 came out, I updated my HomePod and my 2 HomePod minis. And it was kind of a janky process, but eventually it finished. And then I went and checked to make sure that all the devices were running 15.5. And then this 15.5.1 update comes out, and I see that I'm downloading 15.5.1 and 15.5 to update the devices that aren't running 15.5 yet. I'm like, what the?
Because you're an early updater. You update immediately like I do.
Right. And so there's no reason why I should have been downloading the 15.5 update concurrently to the 15.5.1. And ultimately what I found out, which we haven't discussed this yet, what I found out was that one of my HomePod minis was actually not installing the updates. So it was showing initially that it was successful, and then later on it was not. And and so
it is happening live on the show right now.
Yeah,
because
there you go.
I'm having exactly the same issue. One of them is downloading 15.5. One of them is downloading 15.5.1. This morning, all of them said they were on 15.5.1. I think my HomePods have been drinking.
Yep, very, very plausible.
Well, one of them is the one that sits on the bar, so it's entirely possible.
Yeah, there you go. So I'm going to check again tomorrow, because apparently the success of these updates is very transient. And I'm curious to see if the HomePod mini that was saying it hadn't been updated to 15.5, that is now saying it's on 15.5.1. Well, I can't wait to see what operating system version it says tomorrow.
Well, my dilemma was the fact I have 2 HomePods above me here, and they're in pair. So so when you go to look at them, it says 2, and when you go into the settings, as you know, when you go into, for those who don't know, you go into the Home app, and then you can look at your HomePods that are in the Home app, and then it gives you the selection of where your speakers are. If you just had the single HomePod, like I have 2 HomePod, oh my God, I think I have 3 HomePod minis. I'm nuts. 2 of them are here, one of them at another house, but it's the HomePods are in pairs, so you have to go where it says speakers and then pick each one to check to make sure that I didn't do that. So now each one of them does say 15.5.1. So
yeah, which is what mine are saying right now, but I don't believe that's going to continue to say that.
Nor do I.
Tell you have 4 of them, and
I do.
You discovered that they're not updated either, right?
One of them has decided it isn't updated to 15.5 when yesterday all of them were up to date, and now how many of them? Wait. And now that one has apparently installed 15.5 and realized it needs 15.5.1, and now all of them, and I'm sorry, 5 of them are now. I have 5. I thought it was 4. I counted wrong.
Well, Kelly, if you leave them alone long enough, and one HomePod really likes another HomePod,
I left a couple
the next
on
thing
the
you
bar,
know, you have more HomePod minis.
Yeah. I think it's a combination of Costco had a screaming deal on them, and so like every time Mr. Kelly went to Costco, he just came home with another one. And I think I left a Barry White record on the bar with a couple of HomePods, and now I have more HomePods.
And then you have
they're all saying that they want to install 15.5.1, which I thought they had done this morning because I knew it was out. So maybe all of them are drunk. I don't know. Let's see how many HomePods I have when I'm done with this.
when you do get 15.5.1 installed, it is going to fix that problem.
Then it means the one behind me that keeps playing that keeps playing a song and then stopping may not have a problem anymore. So,
so it is going to play the music, won't stop. And that was what the big 15.5.1 fix was. So let's hope everybody gets their HomePods up to date, and we can enjoy listening to the music on these HomePods, right?
Maybe.
All right. And let's go ahead and move on. I have a bunch of tips I wanted to kind of go over. And if you guys want to add some in as we go here, please feel free. There's some, I just throw out some simple ones. I kind of threw like a 1 or 2 tips in, but maybe more with every device. So I started off with Apple Watch. First one I wanted to talk about is managing notifications. The way you do that is you have to open up the Apple Watch app on the iPhone, and then you scroll down to the notifications section from within the My Watch section, and go to the list of apps that are currently installed on your Apple Watch. Now, what I do is there are a lot of apps I don't want installed, but the problem is whenever you install an app and it has an Apple Watch companion app, it wants to install it, and I don't want it. So you have to go in, you can go in and actually turn it off, and so it's not there. So
you can also tell it not to do that. There's a spot somewhere, I don't remember where, but there's a place where you can tell it, like, don't do it unless I say so. And that's also nice.
Yeah. So if you go to those apps, use the toggle provided to allow or disallow those apps to send you notifications. So you can actually turn those notifications off, so they aren't bothering you. You'll want to repeat the process on every single one of these third-party apps that are downloaded. But it's a good tip to manage your Apple Watch. Because believe me, you go into the menu here and you scrolling around here and say, oh my God, there's like 50,000 apps on here I'll never use on my Apple Watch. So it's good thing to know as far as managing that. Did you have anything you wanted to add, Kelly?
On the watch, the thing I like to point out is like, your relationship with notifications is always subject to change. Everyone should just go into the relationship with notifications knowing this. You may turn them on for something that you're very excited about, and after about 48 hours realize that this was a tactical error on your part and adjustments must be made. So think about for a minute, like I think there's sort of like 3 phases of notifications. It goes all the way to your arm. So no matter what's happening wherever you are, the one, you will always get one on your wrist. There's deliver it to your phone and have it make noise so that your phone goes off, like when it rings, or maybe you get a text message, like it makes a sound. I always configure those so I know what is making sound, so I know whether or not I need to look at it right away. And there's deliver quietly, which I think is a feature of iOS that not nearly enough people know about or utilize. So you can have it show up in Notification Center on your lock screen and just be a thing that you look at when you have a minute to kind of scroll through that and glance at, all my hearts are restored in the game I was playing, whatever. You have the option to adjust those accordingly, and it's great. So I think they've given it some different wording in iOS 15, and I don't know that it's necessarily officially called deliver quietly, but also if you see them on the lock screen and there's like some notification on your lock screen that is irritating to you, right from the lock screen, you can just turn that thing off. Like, this app doesn't get to notify me of anything anymore, and be done with it. And that's super awesome. So I think part of it is just really thinking about the right avenue for whatever that notification might be. Like, if it's a game, maybe it doesn't matter and you can deliver it quietly. If it's text messages, maybe there are certain people you want to have go all the way to your wrist or not, that kind of thing too. So I think spend a minute. And I think I've even talked about this with you, David, before. Spend a minute and think about what it is you're trying to do and then customize accordingly. And in a lot of cases, you have the option to customize whatever it is that you're interacting with, and notifications might be that thing.
Absolutely. Jeff, did you have anything you wanted to add before we move to the next tip?
No, you two totally covered it.
All right, great.
I mean, I could, but no, we could do a whole show just on that.
Yes, we could. 2 other things I want to talk about is power and reboot. And there's two ways really of both. The power button, which is the power button below the digital crown, you can just tap and hold just that button for a few seconds, and it will go into it will vibrate at you, because you could cause an SOS and then call 911. So you got to be careful when you do that. So when you push that, it'll give you the option to turn the watch off completely. And it is a good thing to have to do if once in a while if you had to want to turn the watch off and you're not using it. The other way of doing it is, and we know we do that on our iPhones and iPads all the time, is the hard reboot. Sometimes you may need to do that because the watch may just not be running quite right. I've done that many times. And the way to do that is you hold the digital crown and the side button together and just keep holding it until it shuts off, and then you see the Apple logo again, and then it does a reboot. And a lot of times I've done that, and it's cleared up a lot of problems that the watch had been doing in the reasoning for that. You guys have anything to add on that as far as power?
Oh, power, no. I just have a cool watch tip that I like to tell everybody all the time.
Hard reboot is your friend with an Apple Watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Kelly. You want to add your
just that the Find My on it is really nice. And if you like, for the Find My phone, you can make your phone play a noise from your watch. Like if you swipe up for the control center, there's the little phone icon, and if you tap on that, it'll make your phone chime. Now, if you have a black iPhone and you have lost it in your car that has a black interior and it's nighttime, that ping isn't going to do you a lot of good. So if you tap and hold on the phone button, when it chimes, it will also flash the camera flash for you as well. And that makes it a lot easier to find that black phone in a black car in the black of night. So that one is one I always like to point out to people, and that there are options for customizing that control center, which will go along with the tip I have later. But, if you use the little flashlight feature on the watch all the time, move it up to the top. If you lose your phone a lot, move the phone button up to the top. If you don't ever use theater mode for your watch, move it down to the bottom. And if you have to scroll to it every so often when you need it, it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I do that all the time. Especially I like the vibe, the ring, the phone, tell me where it's at. I want that front and center. Gotta be right there. And the flashlight. It's another one I use.
Yeah.
Quite
The
a bit
watch
as well.
flashlight feels a little weird at first, and then it's amazing.
I go like this. And, hey,
try it a little, and then especially the red light. I've recently had the opportunity to go back to the movie theater occasionally, and in so doing, having the red light to be able to see where'd my snacks go, that kind of thing. It's one of those fancy theaters where they bring you like food. And so being able to see like where everything got off to, with the red light, so that you're not being obnoxious and hassling a bunch of other people, is really nice.
Kelly, when you said food, I immediately went to Kids in the Hall and Kevin McConnell going, hot?
I love Kids in the Hall.
Yeah. So
Very
good
nice
stuff. Good stuff with the watch here. Couple quickie ones I had for the iPhone. Customizing your Spotlight search settings. If you go into settings and under Siri search, that's really a good place to go in and customize how you get your search stuff that's there. You can go in and turn things on and off, things like showing in lock and lookup, showing in Spotlight, allowing notifications, showing when sharing, showing in App Library and Spotlight. So that comes up. And then you can get very granular in there with each app too. If you go into specific apps, you can go into an app and you can tell it. And this is probably an area for Siri and search that probably people don't go in very often, because you can go into your entire list of apps are in here, and you can customize it to any way you want as far as how searching can be done through Spotlight. Learn from this app is the most common thing you'll see at the very top of each app, and going through and making changes if you so want to, showing on the home screen, suggesting an app. It really is. It's a way that you actually can customize it for the way you want it to work, because you don't have to have it work the way Apple wants you to have it work. And because plenty of times things come up, and it always scares me all the time. It remembers what time of day is, and if there's a specific app I'll be using, it pops up in the search because it knows I had used it at that given time of day when I go pull it up for the first time. So it's a really great and powerful tool, and people should go in there and check that out. Again, go into settings and then Siri and search. Simple place to go, and just start exploring. You'll find that there's so many different things in there that could really customize Spotlight the way you'd like it. You guys, Kelly, do you have you customized that much at all?
A little, not a ton, because most of the time I think it's fine. But also I would say while you're in settings, go walk through the settings for your system apps. Yep. You can make some adjustments to the camera app. You can make adjustments to messages. You can make adjustments to the phone. You know, how your phone behaves when people call you, and having and a lot of those things are things that are improved or updated, or a whole new thing is added as part of that particular app's capabilities, and they don't ever talk about it because it's not really exciting that you can block robocallers, right? It's not really, you know, but there's intelligence behind that one. So if it's a number you've called recently and you get a call back from that number, even if it's not in your contacts, your phone will ring because you called it first. And so then you don't have to worry about missing that call. And those aren't the kind of things that Apple talks about a lot, you know, at DubDub and that sort of thing. So go poke around in there and be a settings explorer. You know, look at the system apps, walk through all of the options and accessibility, and maybe you will find something in there that is super amazing to you, or makes something really helpful. You know, to go along with Control Center on your watch, you know, one of the things you can do is go in there and edit the Control Center on your phone, or you know, what I always call page 0, when you swipe over from the first page of apps and you've got your widget options for what you can have over here. You know, having that look the way you want it and have things on there that are a nice heads up display, that's also really nice. And yeah, and the whole point is to make your technology work for you. So
exactly.
So make it do the things you want, you know, put the magnifier, you know, if you don't use the flashlight, move it down. If you use the magnifier all the time or didn't know it was there as a choice, go add the magnifier to your Control Center and scoot it up. If you use the TV remote all the time, put it at the top, that kind of stuff. And, you know, 10 minutes is all it will take to make a huge difference in your phone. It'll take a little while to adjust if you have muscle memory of the way things were, but make an adjustment. You don't ever use the phone, take the phone out of the dock and put your camera app there instead. You know, put a folder down there. You know, make it a thing that is useful to you in the way you want to use it. And that's always going to be the best advice, regardless, you know, whatever phone you have, whatever version of operating system it runs, whether it's Face ID or Touch ID, you know, you're the boss. And so boss it around, turn it into the device it needs to be for you.
That's right. Anything you want to add on that, Jeff?
Go into notifications and spend a lot of time there and refine what's happening, because your iPhone and Apple Watch will otherwise be an information fire hose that's dumping way too much information at you all the time. So go in and turn off notifications you don't need, control how notifications are happening, and your life will be so much better. And then for your Apple Watch, go into the Watch app, and you have a notifications in there, and it the default for notifications is mirror my iPhone, which might be fine, but my Apple Watch, that's where I want the things that I need to know about right now. So I have turned off mirroring for most everything. So the notifications on my watch are the things that I need to check right away. The notifications that I'm getting on my phone are notifications that I should check at some point. And then if I'm not getting any notifications at all from something, it's because I don't need them.
Yep. Definitely don't need them. Let's go ahead and move on. These are a couple quickies and quickie tips here. Using picture in picture, if there's a reason you wanted to turn it off, some people may not like it coming up when you toggle into another app, but I like it. I wouldn't want to turn it off, but you can. So what you do is go into settings under general, and under picture in picture is listed in there, and you just simple toggle on, turn off, turn on. So just take care of that. And then another useful tip here is Instagram. Those of us who are on Instagram, there is a privacy tip there for iPhone. You can turn off your activity status so your followers can't track you, because that if you don't want people tracking where you are, if you're on all the time, and they might be seeing that you're on Instagram too much, but you have control of that. So the way you do that is change this is by tapping your account icon on the bottom right, the stacks icon up at the top right, then select settings and go into privacy, and then select activity status. There's some toggles there to turn off your activity status. And I think that's something that's important if you don't want to be tracking of your activity all the time. It keeps it private. So
everyone should go and turn that setting off.
Yes.
Just, it doesn't matter who you are, just go turn it off. It's not a setting that should even be there. I mean, it's not a feature that should even be there. So turn it off and your life will be better.
Absolutely. So important, do that, because that's a very important one. Kelly added in the show notes here, Brittany Smith, our friend Brittany, she does some great videos on lots of stuff, including a lot of tips. She did a video on notifications. We'll have a link in the show notes to check that out. Two more quick tips here. One for iPad, having the ability to be able to switch to a floating keyboard. And many apps that you go in, you go into the iPad, you like to type in on the full size keyboard, but there might be times that maybe you're in messages or something that you want a small little floating keyboard. You can do that. And the way you do that is if you go to the keyboard when it comes up, when you're going to type something, there's a keyboard icon on the bottom right. Tap that, you can switch it into the floating keyboard mode. It moves up to the kind of middle of the screen. It's the size of a little bit of a square, similar size to what it is on the iPhone, really. And if you want to have that ability, be able to type and just use a small keyboard, you can do that. And then the way you bring it back, because that's the tricky part. If you do that, and I know a lot of people fall into this trap when they switch to this keyboard, is the fact that it's stuck there because it's always going to be there until you switch it back. And the way you do that is you tap the space bar, it's got a line on it. You tap and hold that, and then you drag the floating keyboard all the way down to the middle of the bottom of the screen. And then it'll snap back and bring the full-size keyboard back for you. So something to check out. The one last tip I wanted to throw in here for Apple TV, I said I was going to cover all the devices here, and I hit them all here. The Apple TV remote app, which is included in the control center. We talked about that earlier. There is no need to download it. It's already there, and then it'll be in the control center for you. But also make sure that your iPhone is paired with your Apple TV, and most of the time it is. If it's not, you'll need to make sure you do that. So with the Siri remote on the Apple TV, you just use that to navigate any place that asks for you to enter text. In most cases, it's you get those pesky usernames and passwords to sign into Netflix or one of your other apps, because it for some reason gets signed out, and it's such a pain. You either can use Siri and then actually talk to her and say, enter this and read off your password, or what it'll do is as soon as you get to that box, you'll get a prompt to show up on the notification screen on your iPhone saying you want to be able to input this information. Tap that box and then go ahead and enter the information. In that case, it'd be a password. And I think it's a great way to being able to navigate, and having a remote on your iPhone. Many times my Siri remote might have fell in the cushion somewhere, but of course I can find it because I have an AirTag attached to it. So
of course you do.
But at least you do have the option also to be able to access the remote with the iPhone app, which is great. Do you guys have anything else you wanted to add on any of those?
Using the remote app on your iPhone is fantastic when you have passwords to enter.
Yep.
Because if you're using a password manager, say like 1Password, the remote app will let you access that, so you can fill in from your password manager instead of having to like copy and paste or just type yourself.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. wanted to give a shout out to everybody that was in the chat tonight on youtube.com/AG65. We had a good crowd here tonight, which was great. I got some comments that were made. Brett in the chat actually talked about, or what we talked about, the airport time capsule. If the revival is true, I hope it enables you to make local copies of your iOS backups, and it handles putting your backups in the cloud. That would be interesting. I like that. I think that
would be a cool feature.
Feature if they were to add that. Brett also made the comment, just as we talked here about the Apple TV remote app, the keyboard also supports password managers like 1Password. Yes, it does. That's even better, because that'll happen is it brings up and you tap it in, and 1Password, or even the iCloud keychain would be accessible as well, using that. So it's even there as well. So, but yeah, thanks everybody that was in the chat. A few others might have made any comments, but I really appreciate you watching. We like to see you, and we do record this live every Thursday nights, and usually 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, and it's at youtube.com/DaveG65 here. So, but with that, let's go ahead and wrap these up for this week. That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address. It's feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Twitter @intouchwithios. Support the show. Buy me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We'd really appreciate it. You also can become a Patreon of the show. If you go to patreon.com/intouchwithios, we have 2 tiers. You're available to support the show. We would really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, as you're notified when we are live streaming, as I just mentioned, on our YouTube channel, which is at youtube.com/DaveG65. You can watch past shows. The live streams are recorded, as well as the audio portions of the show are available on the YouTube channel. Visit In Touch with iOS magazine on Flipboard, where many of the topics that we talked about, including the ones today, are going to be flipped into the magazine. Go back and review those articles. Go ahead and check that out. The link is in the show notes. You can also subscribe to the show in your favorite podcatcher, including Pocket Casts, Apple Podcasts, and many others. But better yet, go to our website at intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are there. I am Dave Ginsburg. You can find me on Twitter at DaveG65. Jeff Gammon, as always, thanks so much for being here. Where can people find you?
Well, thanks for having me back yet again. And people can find me on Twitter and Instagram, JGammett on both, youtube.com/JGammett for my videos. And Mac Voices Live here with you, the Big Show, the Mac Show. But I do want to call out the Context Machine for this week, because this is the episode where I tell you how to deal with having to use 2 Apple IDs that get screwed up. And then also how to deal with problems with a HomePod that just refuses to play right. And here's a big hint: it has to do with Wi-Fi.
What?
It does say it is a therapy session, so
it is totally a therapy session for me.
I have a queue. It's in queue. Gotta go listen. So check that out too.
Awesome.
Kelly Gamont, as always, it's always great to have you back on the show. Where can people find you?
You can find me over at the After Show, which is a show I do with Mike Rose, which is mostly the 2 of us generally chatting about whatever sort of crosses our minds whenever we can manage to record that. And that is at aftershowpodcast.com. But in a bit of breaking news, we have managed to find a way to focus ourselves on something, and that something is the television program Barry on HBO.
Ooh,
and so we have spun up the
Nice.
Barry podcast, because we've spent, since season 1 of Barry was released into the world, Mike and I have adored NoHo Hank, specifically from afar. I did try to pitch to Mike that we start the NoHo Hank cast featuring Barry, because that was really what we were going to end up talking about anyway. And so we have started a show that is basically just us. The way we've planned it, and so of course this is all subject to change, is we did an episode about season 1. we're going to do an episode about season 2, and then we're going to take season 3 2 episodes at a time. So we'll do 1 and 2 together, and then 3 and 4 together for all the episodes. And we just missed it because we recorded this last Sunday and decided that what we were going to actually call the show was Loud, Fast, and Keep Going, which is an episode title from season 1, which is basically Mike and I, if you've ever listened to the after show. And we missed, so go look up the episode titles. You don't have, there's no spoilers in any of them, but go look up the episode title of the latest episode of Barry. And I'm very sad that we didn't end up getting to use that as the name of the podcast instead, because it also would have been a perfect title for something that Kelly and Mike from the after show podcast put together. But you can find us over at loud-fast, Michael, or David will have it in the show notes. Loud, Fast, and Keep Going. You can find a link to it at aftershowpodcast.com. I want my MCU TV. I am trying to get the rest of it out the door as fast as I can. It should be any moment now. And then we are going, I do pop up other places on the Incomparable, but you can find I Want My MCU TV in the podcatcher of your choice. And while we are here, I'd like to take a moment, as Jeff did yesterday when he heard the news, that to send love and sympathy and support and well wishes to our friends over at Icon Factory after the passing of Corey Marion. And I meant to bring it up earlier in the show and didn't get around to it, but one of the founders of Icon Factory, if you ever downloaded any of the icons on Mac OS, pre-Mac OS 10, when you could go to that cool website and get the desktop pattern that had all the matching icons for your hard drives and your folders and everything. If you ever used any of those, you were probably enjoying Corey Marion's work. And he's a delightful artist. And I was always in awe of the stuff that he would put out. And he has passed. And so I'm very sad for my friends over at Icon Factory. And so Ged, Talos, Craig of Chalk fame, Sean, everybody over there, thanks so much. Like I appreciate all of you, and I'm thinking
thanks for all the bits.
All the bits,
all the pretty bits. Yeah, you can find the rest of the time though, because you did ask and I should answer your question as completely as I can. You can sometimes find me on Twitter, but most of the time I'm either editing a podcast or playing Pokemon Go.
Okay, great. And Mike always posts pictures of Oreo cookies, and there's an Oreo Ritz cracker combo that's being released. So.
I don't know that it's a situation, I think, at this point, because he's always kind of got an eye on whatever sort of shenanigans Oreo is up to right now, as a general rule, like Swedish fish Oreos, etc. Yeah. So he's always got like the latest shenanigan from them. And the current one, I think, is it's one side is an Oreo, and then there's Oreo filling, and then the other side is a Ritz.
I believe so.
But there's also I think that's a peanut butter layer in there.
Peanut butter. Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
So we took the Ritz thing with a middle and the Oreo with a middle and just smushed them together. That sounds horrifying. I'm against it. I mean, Ritz and peanut butter is good. This is like that popcorn that you can get that's like, David, you probably know about this, because here they call it like Chicago mix or Chicago style popcorn or something.
That's Garrett's popcorn.
Part caramel corn and part cheese covered popcorn. And I also morally oppose this. I like each of them individually, and I don't like them together, not even a little. I tried. It's not like I thought about it and decided no. I tried it and it was horrible. And it is one of Mr. Kelly's favorite things to eat. And so
what a shame.
It's always in my house and I never eat any, and it never sounds good to me in any way. So yeah.
What a shame. You just go to Oreo's website and they're sold out.
What I did as soon as you started talking about this, Kelly, because I was having a hard time accepting it. I believed you. I just couldn't accept it. So I typed Oreo into Google, and the first thing that came up was Oreo Ritz combo.
Yep.
I'm like,
anyway.
Okay.
Thank you both for being here. You want one more thought before?
Well, all I was gonna say was if you two have decided that Instagram is not necessarily a place you want to spend a lot of time, but you like looking at nice pictures people take, you can follow me and loads of other people who take more interesting photos than me over on Glass, which is a really cool iOS app full of beautiful pictures, and also some that I took, and you can check me out over there.
All right, put that in the show notes. All right, thanks everybody. Thank you both for being here. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show. We enjoyed doing it, and we'll talk again soon. All right. That's fun.
It's amazing how you're able to keep us under control ish when we're on the show
that was
together.
really pretty civilized overall for the most part.
Hey, I was the one who threw it in, so I opened the door, I let it close. So it was fun.
Yeah. The Oreo thing is the situation. And I didn't realize, like,
it's right on their homepage too.
No, I see them all the time. And that Mike has posted a new iteration of Oreo nonsense. I see it all the time. And it never occurred to me that, like, yes, that's basically what his Instagram account is now, is he should just change it from Mike T. Rose to Oreo shenanigans and Oreo nonsense. And
he seems to find them all. He actually sees them, takes pictures in the store.
Yeah, I need to find this magical grocery store that like always has some weird ass flavor.
New York City, what do you expect?
Well, yeah, of course.
So
I mean, it's Brooklyn, so there's probably an equivalent here. I just don't spend a lot of time at the store. So yeah.
So Kelly, am I correct in assuming the only way to sign up for Glass is to use your Apple login?
I don't know. I know it's an app. I got an invitation, and so that's how I know. So
let me open the app. So yeah, sign up with Apple. So use Apple sign in.
Oh, okay.
Which I appreciate the convenience of using Apple for sign in.
Mm-hmm.
I just prefer not to, because when Apple has a problem, which has happened before, people can't log into stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I also don't use any of the other services for sign in.
Yeah.
Right.
Because,
nor do I.
Yeah. So, well, maybe it's I'm thinking I downloaded the app at one point, because when I went to grab it, it didn't have a get button. And I bet I downloaded it and got to the point where it said sign up with Apple. And I was like, oh, yeah, I can't do that.
All right. Let's go ahead and say goodnight to everybody on the live stream. That was so awesome. We got a lot of viewers tonight. We appreciate it. And,
that's awesome.
We will.
We love you, live stream.
We love you, and we'll talk next.
We love you, live stream.